Hello everybody, welcome back to H4G Games. I'm here with Richie.
I'm welcoming myself back as well.
Indeed. He's back, guys, he's back. Richie just finished up a playthrough of Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, and he's going to tell us a little bit about this game today.
Yeah, I think I'm going to need a little bit more time to come up with my... I didn't think we were going to do a review today. I thought the green screen was just, for ambience.
Oh, well, what did you think we were going to do together?
Let's start by taking a look at the gameplay of Deus Ex Mankind Divided. It's certainly in the same realm as the other Deus Ex games in that it really emphasizes player choice and giving multiple pathways to ultimately the same objective more often than not. So you've got a bunch of different paths, but they do tend to funnel into the same major areas. You just get a different angle on things based on the path that you choose. And beyond just the choice of which path do I take, there's also options as to how you deal with the obstacles in a given environment. For example, you can take a stealthy approach to a room filled with enemies with guns that want to shoot you and try to avoid them, avoid a firefight. Or you can try and actually gun your way through them. And sometimes this can be effective, especially if you sort of pick enemies off one at a time and thin the crowd before actually running into things. But if you just sort of run into a situation, guns firing, more often than not, this ends up more lethal for you than for your opponents. One of the things I really like about Mankind Divided is that I feel like it's the first game in the series that really allows all of the gameplay options to exist on equal footing. In Human Revolution, it really felt like the game wanted you to take the stealth approach and almost punished you for taking a more militant approach until the boss battles, where you were pretty much forced to kill the enemies. So if you were smart and recognized that the game wanted you to play more stealthily, you would put all of your experience points into stealthy upgrades and then just find yourself screwed in the boss battles because all you had was the 10mm pistol. In Mankind Divided, you can still wind up with the experience that you need if you go through gunning everybody down versus having to feel like you need to take the stealthy approach first to get the full experience points and then just go back through the level and gun everybody down because it's fun. And it's not just the experience system that makes combat a little bit more compelling in this version of the game. You are also able to customize your weapons on the fly, where you can pull off your silencer if you're in the middle of a firefight. There are different types of ammunition that are better against mechanical targets, are better against armored targets, are more readily available. Being able to do that and adapt your loadout on the fly really makes it feel like you can go into a combat not necessarily knowing what you're going to be up against entirely, but still react to what the game puts at you. And besides player choice, one of the other defining characteristics of the Deus Ex series is that pretty much all of the protagonists and a handful of characters throughout the game are mechanically augmented. So basically think cyberpunk sorts of alterations to your physical abilities to make you better able to interface with the machine, better able to interface with your weapons, better able to sneak past people, just be better, period. Robots are better. The game is going to tell you differently later on, but robots are better. The key augmentations that are introduced specifically for Mankind Divided are discovered in a operation chamber that seems not too dissimilar from a Dr. Nick from The Simpsons sort of practitioner. He seems like a little bit of a quack.
I want to show you what happens when you activate one of these suckers.
You're sure you're a doctor, right? And
Yeah.
that dog is, like, sterile, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is gonna all be okay, right?
Yeah.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Shut your eyes.
I mean, all of the augmentations are functional, but I felt like some of the super secret augmentations that were discovered for this game were kind of grasping at straws, and a lot of them are actually on par or equivalent to weapons that you could use in the original game. I'm going to be taking him through one of the game's side missions. I'm having him play it because there's a character named Richard who in no way behaves anything like me.
No.
In fact, this Richard's kind of a dick.
Oh, so it's like he's doing some sort of hypnotizing thing?
Mm-hmm.
What am I supposed to do? Pull out my gun? Pull out my Glock? What is this, Alpha, Beta, Omega? My brainwaves or something?
That is your social enhancer trying to analyze his alignment.
Okay.
But clearly it's
struggling.
Freaking out.
This guy looks exactly like you.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? What's the best option here? If I indulge, I might go further down the rabbit's hole here.
It's up to you.
If I resist, he might freak out. If I challenge him, he might freak out. If I indulge, I might be able to get his trust, though.
It's true. Who knows?
I am at one with Richard's voice.
Oh man, that looks delicious.
I am at one with Richard's voice.
Good people don't go upstairs. Oh, is that a hint? Okay. Is that Richard?
Now you need to whip your gun out. He's not the best fighter.
Can I tell all these people to go away now? Oh my gosh, so they're all basically having the existential crisis because we saved them.
They're having dick withdrawals. we got to give them their dick back.
Oh, so she feels like herself.
She's pretty happy.
But everyone else is just having a really hard time with this. So he's having a hard time. It'd be better just to mercy kill him. I don't want these people to suffer anymore. They were so, like it's like they're coming off of heroin over here.
I hear you.
And
we're not a rehab center. We're not equipped to.
No. I'm not equipped
deal
to do
with
any
that
of this.
kind of.
Perfect.
Oh, we're terrible people.
Now, what I really would like to do, just real quick, is
murder rampage.
Murder rampage. That's it. What? Oh, come on now. No, she's just not being fair. No. Ah. Okay, well, let me give some quick first review impressions before you continue your actual review. I like it. It reminds me like a combination between BioShock and Grand Theft Auto. BioShock, because of the first-person shooter, kind of has a strong aesthetic, sometimes a dismal aesthetic. And in BioShock, you had a lot of like science-based, but sort of like pseudo-mystical feeling, even though they were science-based augmentations, right? And this kind of felt akin to that, but the side questiness of it and the open worldness reminded me of Grand Theft Auto.
I can dig it.
A nice marriage between the two. I've only played for like probably a half hour, but it was fun.
And Andrew Ryan would totally steal somebody's car.
Oh, yeah.
So now to talk a little bit about how the game presents itself. I was pretty darned impressed with the visual experience I got out of Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. Human Revolution was a pretty darn good-looking game, but it was never anything that made my jaw drop. Whereas in Mankind Divided, there are definitely some moments where my jaw definitely does drop, especially the environments. The textures, as long as you don't look at them too carefully, look pretty darn convincing. And it's easy to get lost in Prague like it's just a place you're walking through. Where I feel like the graphics really sort of fall behind is in the facial animations. Even though Adam Jensen's emotional range sort of tops off at mild agitation anyway, a lot of the other characters in the game have broader emotional range, and I feel like the poor animation of the faces made it difficult for me to really get involved in the cutscenes, and I often found myself just sort of flipping through the text once I read the subtitles. The music is kind of... It doesn't really leap out at you to be noticed, and it's not really anything that the music was widely lauded on release or anything, but I still long for the days of the original Deus Ex with its memorable main theme, and just anything memorable would have been nice. The graphics, while they do look really, really great, especially in the environments, they're very demanding as well. My PC isn't exactly a slouch. It's not a top-end gaming murder machine, but it's a respectable rig, and running at 4K and high rather than ultra high or intense or extreme or whatever the hell the highest option is. I was usually running the 25 to 30 plus frames per second range. The frame rate was smooth enough for me to enjoy the game my way, but for performance hounds, you may have to make some graphical compromises to get the performance you need. Like Human Revolution, this is a prequel to the original Deus Ex. Basically, what starts the story here is after the events of Human Revolution, the segregation between Augs and Naturals, as they call them in the game, is brought to a fever pitch. The major inciting event of this game is a bombing that happens at a train station very early on in the game. You, as Adam Jensen, the protagonist introduced in Human Revolution, go on a mission to try and uncover who's responsible for this and take them to justice.
You're putting me on the train station attack? Not Dubai?
Which is a perfectly fine premise, except that the game never really seems to broaden itself beyond the major event. Deus Ex has always been a series that's all about conspiracies, about big plots, the bigger picture. And although all of the players involved are mentioned throughout the game, I just feel like throughout the game you're just sniffing at the feet of the small fry, and you're not really involved in the bigger events going on, which kind of makes sense if this is actually supposed to develop into a new Deus Ex trilogy, but it's still a little bit disappointing as the actual third game in the series. Note, there is actually the sequel to the original Deus Ex that would make it a 4-game series, but that game is so terrible I choose. Actually, I tried very hard to forget it and was unable to, so I had to call in some favors and had a top-notch neurosurgeon actually cut the part of my brain that was responsible for remembering Deus Ex Invisible War out of my brain. Oh boy, that's that's a knife, all right. Oh boy. For the most part, there's only probably in the realm of 10-ish side missions, but they're all fully developed. They each sort of tell their own story, and that's where a lot more of the substance of the game comes clear versus in the core story, which honestly, the final boss of the game feels like he would have been the first boss in any other Deus Ex game. At the end of 30 hours, the gameplay gets a little bit stale. I wasn't that impressed with the new augmentations that were introduced in this game. I'm a little worried about how much staying power there is left in the series to support a whole new trilogy.
Schmutz.
I got a little bit of a headache.
A little schmutz.
Little headache. Let's...
Huh. Yeah. Drink the pain away. What would you say final thoughts, final score for Deus Ex would be?
I mean, this is... I mean, my thoughts on the game are divided.
Oh.
But when I really look at things, I feel like it's mostly the story and that sort of Act 1 feel that gives me most of my problems with this game, because it is such an established series. I don't know why we're back at point 1.
Yeah. That
being said, I probably had as much fun as I've ever had playing a Deus Ex game, and right after finishing my initial, stealthy no-kills playthrough, I went back and enjoyed my second playthrough collecting the gameplay footage for the review. It's not a lot of games that I can play right after playing it and still enjoy myself. So yeah. I say I give it a soft 9 out of 10. Not a hard 9,
not a hard
but
9.
A soft 9. So like an 8.5 if you can comprehend decimals, but I can't right now.
Cheers. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. Thank you for subscribing, and we will see you all next time.
I can't see anything. Should I be
concerned?
concerned?
Can you see this? How many fingers am I holding up? Thank you again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like and a share, and we will see you guys next time.